Hello ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be going over day 2 of our virtual learning. For those of you paying attention in your textbook, we're looking here at pages 8 through 11. First and foremost, for our do now, you're going to explain in the discussion board that was created is whether or not you agree with this quote and why. This quote comes to us from James Madison: "If men were angels, no government would be necessary." So you can pause this video at your leisure and go ahead and respond to that in the discussion board. So today we're going to go over the basics and classifications of a crime. We'll also go over the elements of a crime. So let me add that into our list here. Basics, classifications, comma, and elements of crimes. Alright, so let's start off first with the basics. Now, in the last video, we discussed the differences between civil and criminal cases. We're not going to be focusing on civil cases. We won't look at family law. We won't look at divorce law, any of that, laws regarding cars, vehicles. We're not going to discuss any of that. We're focusing on criminal cases. Now, there's two important things to note about criminal cases. Number one, has a crime been committed against society? And number two, what is the sentence or punishment that fits that crime? And of course, we don't want to go against our Bill of Rights, and one of them specifically deals with, and hopefully you know which one, one of them specifically deals with cruel and unusual punishment. So if you don't know, be sure to look that up. Let's move on now. There are two major sources of criminal law. Number one, it can be passed by the legislature, or number two, it can be what's known as common law, which is judge-made law, which is based on legal precedents. Laws passed by the legislatures include your state laws, your local laws, and even the laws made by the federal government, by Congress. Legal precedent. What does the word precedent mean? Precedent is an example to be used for future cases. Now, common law is then divided into two different categories. We have felonies and we have misdemeanors. Felonies is more serious. Misdemeanors are minor breakings of the law. Common law felonies. This is a list of common law felonies: murder, manslaughter, rape, sodomy, robbery, burglary, arson, and larceny. Okay, and we'll discuss those at a future date. If you don't know what any of those mean, take a moment and look them up. Now, classifications of offenses. We're looking here at page 9 of the textbook. A crime punishable by a local jail. This is the key here. Local jail is a misdemeanor and can get you less than 1 year in that local jail. So in other words, if I steal something in Piscataway, I could get processed by the local, I could be processed in a local jail. In New Jersey, we refer to a misdemeanor as the disorderly person's offenses. Now, most states define a felony as any crime punishable by death or imprisonment in a state prison for more than 1 year. So that means with a felony, you're looking at a minimum of 365 days. And you go to prison, not jail. So that's another difference between those two things. We have prison versus jail. This is more than a year, and this is less than a year. In other words, this could be 364 days or less, and this will be 365 or more. In New Jersey, we have two different names for felony. We can either call it an indictable offense. That word is pronounced indictable. Or we just call it a crime. Oh, excuse me. Now, the class activity on page 9, you have a graphic organizer to complete this activity. There are 8 different scenarios of criminal acts. You have to determine for each scenario if it's a felony. First of all, I'm getting ahead of myself. Number 1, is the person committing a crime? Why or why not? And if they are committing a crime, what type of crime is it? Is it a felony or is it a misdemeanor, and why? So go ahead and take a moment and pause the video to figure that out. Next, we're moving on to elements of a crime. Elements of a crime start in the textbook on page 10. There are 4 elements to a crime, and almost every crime has these 4 elements. Not every crime will have all 4 of these things, but you will see that most crimes have all of these things. Number 1, we have a prohibited act. In Latin, the term is actus reus. To be more precise, that translates into guilty act. Then we have criminal intent. In Latin, the term for this is mens rea, and the translation is guilty mind. So we have the action is the prohibited act, and we have the intent, did you mean to do it? Then we have something called concurrence of the act and the intent. Concurrence means when 2 things are happening simultaneously at the same time. Sometimes you might have a guilty mind, but not have the intent. So if you accidentally push someone, or if you punch someone in the head, you were mad, but you didn't mean to kill them, but they died as a result of the punching because their brain got a concussion, or maybe they had previous concussions. And then, of course, we have, lastly, causation. And the act has to cause a harmful result. That's what causation is. So as an example of this, the textbook gives, I think, an on-point example. Marge intended to kill Homer and puts poison in a donut. As he reaches for the donut, Homer slips, his head hits his head, and he dies. Marge can't be found guilty of murder because she didn't cause his death. If he would have eaten the poisoned donut, there would have been direct causation. Prohibited acts, people are not punished only for their thoughts, but their acts. And then the failure to act can also be a crime. So some states, bystander laws prevent you from just watching a crime happen without taking action. So be mindful of that. I believe it's either Connecticut or Vermont. If you witness a crime and you don't at least call the authorities, you could be considered an accomplice, meaning you helped in the case. The next element is criminal intent. This is where it gets kind of sticky because there's 4 different kinds of intent. We have specific intent, meaning the person does it on purpose, commits the crime on purpose. We have general intent. The person either knew the result could happen or consciously disregarded the likelihood that it would happen. Then we have negligence. The person does not act intentionally, but with extreme lack of care. And lastly, strict liability, which means that you don't have to have any mental state. And anyone doing the act is guilty regardless of the intent. Now, the other day, we looked at the case of the shipwrecked sailors. In that particular case, the 2 men, Dudley and Stevens, kill their friend and then eat him. Now, murder is illegal, but ladies and gentlemen, I pose to you the fact that cannibalism is not illegal in any of the 50 states. Cannibalism is not illegal. Now, laws about murder make it difficult to obtain human meat. However, there is no law saying you can't eat humans. There are laws saying you can't kill humans, and that's a very big difference. So keep that in mind. And if we're looking at the case of the shipwrecked sailors, which one of these forms of intent makes sense for those 2 gentlemen? Next, we're going to discuss concurrence of the crime. Just going to go into it a little further. The act is done at the same time, and it was done intentionally. So we're combining the action and the intent, the meaning behind the action. They usually happen, concurrence again means at the same time, but it has to be on purpose, and that's a huge factor. Next, causation, as I mentioned before, the act caused a harmful result. And if you go into your textbook, it does give very good examples. Now, If you look on page 11, there's your last class activity for today. Did these people commit a crime? Now, again, if we were in class, you could get into a group of 4. But unfortunately, we're not in class. And you would each take a different place. But since we're doing this on our own, if you decide you want to text someone and help each other out, when you submit it on Schoology, please just make sure that everyone's names is at the top of everyone's paper. So for instance, if in period 4, Dion, Elena, and if Dion, Elena, and Carl are texting each other, when all 3 of you submit this, all 3 of you are going to have the other's names on the top of your paper, so I know you work together. So there are 5 cases here, and you're going to answer the questions on the graphic organizer that was provided to you in your graphic organizer packet. I hope you're all well, and let me know if you have any questions. Stay safe, stay healthy. Bye!